Hello and welcome to Understanding SAP's Cloud Platform. I would like to introduce you to our speakers today. First, we have Prabith Kalathil. He leads the regional operations for Nihilent in Africa. He has more than 18 years of experience across various areas, including market research, consulting, sales, and business development. He is a dynamic, results-driven, self-motivated individual with extensive experience in dealing with new business development, as well as managing large size accounts and businesses. As a certified change practitioner and regional lead, Prabith is entrusted with enhancing the company's image in the region through building strategic relationships with clients, partners, industry stakeholders, and local, provincial, and national government representatives. Sabahat Kazi is the co-founder and CEO of Intellect Bizware, a Nihilent company. Sabahat has more than 25 years of experience, out of which 22 years have been in the SAP ecosystem. Sabahat has led multiple implementations on SAP and programs for digital transformation. He has also been driving development of innovative solutions in SAP whitespaces on S/4HANA as well as SAP Cloud Platform. He regularly presents at SAP summits and events. Additionally, he mentors SAP consultants, solution architects, and is hands-on SAP S/4HANA practitioner. Also joining us today, we have Yogendra Ahuja joining us. Yogendra brings more than 10 years of experience on SAP and leads the SAP Cloud practice for Nihilent. And with that, I will hand it over to Prabith.
Thank you very much, Caitlin, and a very warm welcome to all our attendees. And I'm sure that those who are joining from South Africa, like me, you are braving the winter. And thank you so much for extending your, working hours a little bit extra from the usual times. But in these days that we are, experiencing, there is little to talk about personal hours and working hours. Anyways, I think going by the agenda. For this webinar today, we're going to briefly touch upon who we are as a company, Nihilent. Thereafter, we will definitely be talking about the challenges that we see our clients actually experiencing, especially in the SAP world. Definitely to kind of like lay the land for giving you an overview of SAP Cloud Platform. We will also be discussing some very interesting use cases, which you will find of relevance in your the scenarios that you kind of like represent. Definitely followed by some discussions on the way forward. There are some incentives at offer. There are some our thought process in terms of taking the way forward, and definitely closing with a series of question and answers. And I believe Caitlin has also already established how you can register your questions and how we can actually answer these. Awesome. So definitely, before, I'm sure that you're all looking forward to the webinar. You won't actually definitely get into the thick of the things, but we thought before we really get to the specifics of SAP Cloud Platform, it's very important to know a bit more about Nihilent as an organization. And if I can just start with, the Nihilent's our positioning statement. We are a consulting and a services company that uses a human-centered approach to problem solving and change management. We as a company were born here in South Africa in the year 2000. So definitely more than 20 odd years of association with the country. As you can see, we have got offices right across all major continents, including Australia, Asia, Europe, and North America. And in these 20 years, we have partnered and worked with client organizations of varying size, scale, and complexities across industry segments, including the likes of the banking and financial services, insurance, healthcare, retail, oil and gas, manufacturing, public sector services, and definitely a lot of startups. Now, coming back to our positioning statement and why aspects like human-centeredness is of essence. I think, we all we all understand that the very existence of enterprises hinges on the ability to listen and respond, continuously to customers and changing market demands. The customer is all pervasive, as we all will agree. So taking an up close look at customers' needs, wants, and aspirations hence become a paramount factor for being relevant. Now, while the demand on enterprises have always been to stay nimble, agile, and various other aspects, but the recent developments that me and you and everyone on this webinar and outside world are experiencing, especially the ones that have emanated because of the pandemic, have exerted more pressure on enterprises to be far more adaptive, far more efficient, and far more innovative in their approach to respond to these changing market conditions. So taking a human-centered approach is of essence to not only problem solving, but as well to drive a sustainable innovation-led culture. And that's exactly, ladies and gentlemen, that will be the theme for tonight's webinar. And you will also experience, from that Sabahat is going to share about his experiences, especially around SAP Cloud Platform, that you can stand to benefit collectively from his experiences, from the team's experience, and what collectively Nihilent has to offer. In order to deliver to our promise, we have definitely a bouquet of service offerings that you see on the right-hand side of this slide deck that ranges from business transformation consulting, where we deal with crafting and executing change journeys for our clients. We assist our clients in digitalizing their businesses, which includes not only dealing with cutting-edge technologies, like cloud, mobility, RPA, DevOps, and various others, but as well as enhancing interactions on digital channels, and very important aspect and something that we term as interaction design, and the very essence of why we as an organization, we as a service provider, have even launched and opened a state-of-the-art user experience laboratory at our offices in Bryanston. Through the medium with which we partner and work with our clients to enhance their interaction experience, or what we call as interaction economy. Further moving on the right, we definitely have got extensive capability and understanding and competence in data and analytics. And last but not the least, we deal extensively across various aspects of technology transformation, where on the back of some very interesting and very exciting partnerships with the likes of SAP and others, we help our clients to achieve their business objectives and goals. So in a nutshell, without taking too much time, what I want to really emphasize upon is that if you are a client organization and you are in your change journey, which is driven by either transformation, business transformation, or the theme is optimization, or the theme is centered around innovation, then you are actually talking to a partner, talking to a service provider who can walk with you shoulder to shoulder in this journey to help you realize your business goals and business objectives. So with that, I'll stop here and I'll hand it over to Sabahat, who is going to take you through the rest of the exciting journey on SAP Cloud Platform and share his experiences. So thank you very much. Over to you, Sabahat.
Thank you, Prabith, for this wonderful overview of Nihilent and what we all do, and Caitlin for my introduction as well. Good evening, everyone. And if you're wondering why the picture in the initial slide and the speaker don't match, I think it's the COVID effect, which is why I've grown a beard. I thank you all for sparing time in this times of webinar overload is what I call it. What I plan to do today is, in short, 30-35 minutes to give you an introduction of SAP Cloud Platform, what is in there for you, what is it about, how some of the customers of SAP are actually using it to their benefit. Just to give you an example, one of our customers during this COVID crisis itself, they are into retail, they have a lot of stores, DCs, and there was a need that certain health hygiene factors were taken into account. They wanted a checklist to be developed, and every store, every DC, before they actually start operations, they should actually comply. And otherwise, it's very difficult to do that because you would need some kind of a proof. For example, a picture of, say, some sanitizer has been installed or something has been cleaned up. So all that was done in a very short amount of time. And the reason why we could achieve that was, again, because of the SAP Cloud Platform. So it becomes even more important for all of us in these times to look at the SAP Cloud Platform. As far as Nihilent's overview is concerned on our SAP practice, we have worked with more than 200 customers. These are SAP customers. More than 450 engagements, doing over 100 projects, including 50 projects on SAP S4HANA and 10 conversions from the older ECC to the S4HANA as well. And during this time, we also realized that if you look at specific industries, the requirements, maybe 90% of the requirements are quite similar. There would be minor variations between them, but the requirements primarily, you can box it into one particular type. So we developed a lot of accelerators for these industries. The accelerators were either on ABAP or they were on open source. And now of late, when SAP Cloud Platform has become mainstream, a lot of these IP, a lot of these accelerators, we are moving on the SAP Cloud Platform. The reason is once you have moved it to the SAP Cloud Platform, it's available for customers around the globe to discover and to start using them. So most of our projects we do, we would want to bring in those accelerators as well. And the remaining 10%, as we say, is what is actually a differentiator for that particular customer. These are unique processes that the customer might be following, or a unique way in which they look at their businesses from a reporting or a dashboarding perspective. So those 10% is where I think SAP Cloud Platform again plays a very big role. The earlier concept of having ABAP developments being done right in your ECC system, I think those times need to go away. Our world is changing very fast, and we can't wait for an upgrade for a system. There are many customers who are still on versions 3.x. I mean, that was the version that I started off with more than 20 years back, but it's a fact there are customers who are using that as well. But with so many new emerging technologies coming in, being incorporated within SAP, it's going to be difficult for those customers. So the journey into S4HANA is inevitable, will have to happen. The journey to SAP Cloud Platform, because you will need to have those differentiators built into the system. That's where the remaining 10% comes. And then I have added that 1%. So you can see 11%, for example, here. That 1% is the unique thing that you bring to the table. It's not what the customer wants. It's something that you feel based on your experience that this industry might be requiring. So that's the reason why we do a lot of work on the SAP Cloud Platform as well. Over the course, we have also developed a lot of qualified partner package solutions. These are ready to deploy solutions which we can, if somebody from, say, for example, consumer goods industry wants to implement SAP, we can just deploy this package and do some kind of a delta tuning, and the customer can be on in weeks. They can be productive in weeks. That's the advantage. We have also been winners of the SAP APJ Partner Excellence Award 2017. We have also been one of the early starters on the SAP Cloud Platform. We won the SAP Hackathon, which was organized for partners in as far back as 2016-17. So an early start in terms of SAP Cloud Platform. And now there are a lot of customers that we work with on the SAP Cloud Platform. So let's start with some of the challenges for SAP customers. There are a lot of other challenges. COVID-19 is a challenge, so obviously we are not talking about them, but we are talking about the typical challenges that most SAP customers have. So I can ask you a question. Does this look familiar? This is actually a landscape diagram of one customer. So while SAP is the system of records, you'll find there are a lot of other peripheral systems that the customer might be using. Either they are point solutions, which are very good. Sometimes when you acquire companies, there are systems that come along with them, and then you have to use them. You have to incorporate them, integrate them into your systems. And a lot of legacy also, which still continues. I'm not even talking about the Excel work that a lot of customers do. Even within the ERP system itself, you'll find there's a lot of unique workflow requirements, simplified screens, controls, reporting needs that need to be incorporated. So you'll have a team of programmers who would keep on developing these solutions. And the result is that your system becomes quite heavy. It becomes quite bloated. Just imagine there is a change to be done, and what do we as SAP consultants or people who are managing SAP feel when we need to actually make changes in configuration or maybe some custom program, and we worry what would be the impact on the whole system. So managing bloated and unwieldy systems, I think, is one of the biggest challenges that we are facing. Another thing that has happened is, if you look at our personal lives, it has changed enormously in the last 10 years. When we say entertainment, I think what comes to our mind is not as much as movie theaters. It's more of, say, for example, Netflix, YouTube, or when we are shopping. A lot of people now shop mostly online when it comes to travel. Do you book a hotel through a travel agent? No, you don't. You use Airbnb sometimes, or you use some aggregator site. So things have changed a lot on the personal front. Yet when it comes to work, you'll find most of us still use the same clunky SAP GUI, the same kind of transaction codes, which you need to type out. Obviously, now people remember it right away. They know what to type and what report to get. But there is a huge gap between our personal and work life as far as application is concerned. So obviously, we need to meet our digital needs. The need is not just because of the experience that we are having. It's also because there are a lot of nimble players who are coming up, who are bringing with them or using emerging technologies like blockchain, big data, Internet of Things, analytics. In fact, I'm sure you would also know that you also use it on a daily basis. What do you use when you type or search for something on Google? You are using machine learning, you are using advanced analytics. So all that is happening in our personal lives, but how do we bring it to our business lives, how to bring it to our business applications? I think these are challenges. For some industries, these have become existential challenges as well. So what do we do? We need to innovate. Obviously, we need to bring in all these into our business applications as well. If you look at the innovation formula, innovation is not just about creativity. I can think of a lot of things which can be done, but it also has to be combined with execution. So think of a solution, think of a challenge, think of a problem. What should be the solution for that? And then how do we actually execute and make it applicable in your organization? I think that's very important. There are tools. There is, for example, design thinking. So we very actively engage in design thinking workshops in our engagements. That gives us ideas how we can solve the problem. And at the same time, it also allows us to test things very quickly. Rather than spend on developing the solution, we have a prototype, a clickable prototype most of the times. And when we get the feedback from the users, we are able to actually execute it and make an app, pilot it, and then scale it up. So what do you do when you need to execute? You may have got an idea. You need to find out what kind of infra am I going to use? Do I have the servers available, or do I need to provision for it or buy it? What database I'm going to use? What programming language I'm going to use? If there is a use of emerging technology, then which one? Who's the vendor for it? You need to have a wireframing tool to actually set it up and test it with your users. Unfortunately, every time you have this to be done, you need to search, you need to evaluate, you need to then shortlist maybe a vendor or even a language. You need to then buy something, you need to then implement, you have to train people. Finally, you may also need to integrate with your SAP system or some other system. All this takes time, and one of the key to innovations is, you would have heard of it, fail fast, scale fast. So you need to fail fast means fail early before it's too late, before you have spent months and months, teams of 10 people working for 6 months, and then at the end of it, you realize this doesn't work. So that's not the idea of innovation. The idea is to fail fast. Within weeks, you should be able to know that maybe this is not going anywhere, pivot yourself, come up with another solution, and that's how you're supposed to work. And then once you're successful with your pilot, for example, you need to very quickly scale up. Now, how do you do that when you have to go to the cycle using the building blocks that I just mentioned? It's very difficult. Secondly, in case you fail with these building blocks, is there any reusability of these components? You have already invested on these. Can I reuse them? In most cases, you'll find there is very little you can reuse for another challenge or another initiative. So what is the solution for that? The solution is something like the SAP Cloud Platform, where it's like building blocks. I in fact like to call it Lego blocks that are enterprise ready. You can use them and develop your solution pretty quickly. Coming to the overview of the SAP Cloud Platform, you would all have seen the infinite loop. This is the infinite loop that represents the concept of intelligent enterprise for SAP. Most of us have operations where we are using solutions like SAP ERP, ECC, or maybe CX or IBP and HR solutions or success factors. These do a lot of work. Most of your processes actually run on these systems, and you get a lot of structured data out of them. On the other side, you have experience. So while you know from a measurement perspective, I have made revenue of this much, I've made this much of margin on this product, my inventory of this particular SKU is not moving. But do we know exactly why that is happening? Do we actually know from a subjective measure why my product is not moving in the market? I think that's where the X data or the experience comes in. And bringing it all together, intelligence, which is what SAP now, another new term which you'll keep hearing. I mean, SAP does come up with new acronyms. So there is something called as a business technology platform, which the aim of the business technology platform is to convert data into business value. And it comprises of intelligence technologies like SAP Leonardo, for example, SAP Analytics Cloud, database and data management, which is SAP HANA, and an application development and integration framework, which is called the SAP Cloud Platform. And today, what we are going to do is we are going to focus on the SAP Cloud Platform. And yeah, let's go ahead. So from a definition perspective, it's a platform as a service for building and extending intelligent mobile-enabled cloud-based applications using intelligent technologies, obviously. And what can you do with the SAP Cloud Platform? You can extend what you already have. You can extend your SAP system. All of the SAP systems, in fact, instead of going and doing something in the code itself, writing some program in ABAP within the ECC system itself, you can write all that on the SAP Cloud Platform. So you can extend your core system. Second is you can build separate standalone applications. So many times you'll find you need some application for managing a certain process, a workflow, and you'll build something either or using open source or using some kind of other platform, and then integrating it with your SAP system. Third is on the user experience side. So you need to get away from the earlier clunky user interfaces which we have been used to consumer grade UX, to not just for your customers, but even for your employees as well. So you can build that as well. And fourth, which is very important, your landscape will always consist of multiple systems. How do you integrate them? If your landscape also is entirely SAP, there will always be a need that you need to connect with your customer system. You need to connect with an e-commerce site, for example. Now, all those systems need to be integrated. The idea of an intelligent enterprise is also that you have seamless processes. You should not have to know, the user doesn't have to know what system he's working on. It should be pretty seamless. So integration again plays a very big role in this area. Now let us look at what are the components of SAP Cloud Platform. The most important thing that you need to look at is obviously the infra. So this is perhaps the only cloud or platform with a multi-cloud approach. You can go with SAP Data Center, you can go with Azure, you can go with GCP. So many options are available. You have multiple environments. You can use or leverage the capabilities that you have in your organization, your ABAPers as well, to work on it. Cloud Foundry is open source, so you again have a lot of, you can even have a bring your own language kind of an environment, and multiple languages can be used, multiple technologies can be used. You have the data foundation where you have SAP HANA, so you have an in-memory columnar database available for you. You can also connect with other databases as well. The next layer is the technical services. These are the services which probably you will want to use when you have cases, use cases. For example, a use case for track and trace, or a provenance use case where you need to have blockchain coming in, you have machine learning coming into the picture. You want to connect with IoT, for example. So technical services again play a very important role. The next layer is the business services. If you are operating across multiple countries and you need to look at taxation, you want to determine what is the tax for a certain type of product or category of product, you can use the business services and the system itself will tell you what it is. Translation of languages, rates and measures. There are so many possible business services which are also available on the SAP Cloud Platform. And then you have a marketplace, you have an API business hub where you have connectors with most third-party systems of repute. You can easily use them and connect SAP with many of these other systems. So this is the broad overview of the SAP Cloud Platform. The 6 layers, please remember, they are very important. You can make use of them in multiple ways, which is what we call as the art of the possible. Once you have the cloud platform, it's about choosing which particular block you want to use. I can have a use case where I bring blockchain and an app together. Example is, again, from a pharma industry perspective, if somebody wants to see how your medicine has been delivered to you right from the manufacturer, even from the raw material supplier to the manufacturer. So all that can be enabled using by building a use case using these 2 services. Same thing, there might be a use case where I want to bring in machine learning, predictive together. Another one where I can have IoT, the HANA database, and the predictive analytics together. So you can pick and choose. And the way a child would use Lego blocks to construct multiple things, sometimes an airplane, and then use the same blocks to create maybe a crane or something else, it's quite the same. The only difference is these are enterprise grade Lego blocks, is how I would want to put it. Now we come to some practical use cases that we have worked with our customers, and we have developed our own IP around those use cases. Yeah, the first one, what we talked about, was extending the SAP solutions. So you already have SAP solutions in your landscape. The option with you is go and develop an ABAP program within the ECC system itself, or you feel it'll actually make your system quite heavy. We talked about a bloated system. You don't want to do that. So what you do is you actually build it on the SAP Cloud Platform. So your core is going to be clean. You can leverage your ABAP pool as well. And there is a lot of pre-built connectivity as well through APIs. Using your data, you can exchange data. And whatever you were able to do using ABAP, the same thing you will be able to do by building the same application on the SAP Cloud Platform, with the added benefit that I can have the Fiori user experience. I can also use any other emerging technology service to create an app which probably is better than an ABAP app. Just an example, I am focusing on the simple use cases, while there are a lot of complex use cases as well. One specific case is related to material master. I'm sure a lot of you would have this requirement, or maybe a vendor master or a customer master. It's supposed to, while you have to fill so many fields across different screens, there is a certain workflow which happens. Many people do this workflow on an Excel sheet, where first somebody who has to create the master, maybe your design team has to create a master, they'll create the master. They'll fill up a certain number of fields in an Excel sheet. Then they will send it to the supply chain. They'll again fill up certain fields, then production, then your quality, then your sales, and it goes on and on. And well, the Excel sheet is complete, people usually load their masters. There are many customers of ours who have a team which is handling master data. But again, from filling up the sheet perspective, they still need to coordinate with multiple departments. So what has been done here is we have developed a workflow where the initiator, the moment he has entered his data, it automatically goes across to the various stakeholders in the organization, and each of them fills up the data. Once the data is completely done, that's when the master gets created in the system. So this saves time. This also ensures there are no errors, because every person who's filling up the data would have a drop down. So he'll have to select from that. And there is a responsibility assigned at each stage. It's not like an Excel sheet where you can't even find out who has made what change. So these are the kind of workflows which can be built on the SAP Cloud Platform. The second type of work that you can do with your SAP Cloud Platform is to build new applications altogether. These are applications that differentiate. These are completely new end-to-end applications. Many times you may want to use a ready business service. For example, we created a portal, a secondary sales portal, where you have to determine the taxation. So how do I determine the taxation? So there is a business service called localization, where I can get the tax rates for each particular SKU, and I can use that in building my secondary sales portal. There are huge ready connectivity options available with SAP. So if I'm creating a purchase order in the background, I have a ready service for it. And I can also leverage emerging technology. So I'll show you what use case we have later on. Yeah. So this is the example I was talking about, building an application to connect our distributors or customers. If you see a lot of B2B2C kind of businesses, for example, FMCG, pharma, where you supply to a distributor, the distributor in turn supplies to a retailer, and then it goes to the end consumer. You have visibility only up to what your distributor is ordering to you. But what about the visibility of what the retailer is actually ordering on the distributor and what is actually happening on the ground? So this system takes care of that. It not just looks at the purchase that the distributor is going to do from you, your company. It also looks at the sales which the distributor is going to make on the retailer. So that visibility of the supply chain obviously helps, right up to generating an invoice for the secondary sales. And this is where you can use the localization business service to determine the tax component, what is the taxation, and create an invoice on the retailer. Similarly, we have also built an application for vendors also. It's like, you can say like Ariba in some way. Another example is CSR. These are corporate social responsibility. So every country now is giving a lot of attention to how this CSR funds, which the companies are supposed to spend, are being spent. Many countries, there's a requirement that you need to even submit where you have actually spent the money. For example, in some countries, you have a requirement that if you have set up a school, for example, then you need to present a picture of the school, the construction. If you have supplied laptops, then students using that laptops, all that has to happen. The government wants to ensure that the money is going in the right places. Same way, even companies also want to know that their money is well spent. So we have developed a CSR portal, for example, where right from the proposal for the spend to validation of the agency, because there are a lot of fly-by-night kind of agencies also. You don't want to actually engage with them. So whether they are registered with the right authorities or not, then a proposal is sanctioned. There is a certain workflow. It goes up to maybe CSR committee. They need to approve it. When you need to purchase against a sanctioned CSR spend, then those sanctions are also done in the system itself. The fund release is controlled. And this tightly integrates with the SAP system and even generates a proof of spend. Whatever you need to submit to the government agencies, even that can come out of this. So again, this is a full end-to-end application, which is not part of the SAP core system. But from a requirement perspective, you would want everything right from budgeting for purchase as well as the release of funds to be done from the system. So this is one such application on the cloud platform. Another type of application is related to using things like Internet of Things. This is an application we developed to monitor the entire transportation chain, right from planning for your vehicles, building a load. The vehicle comes in, you do an entry at the gate, there's a payment which is happening. You need to do a check on the vehicle. Then the vehicle goes for loading, where again it's loaded, it's checked, and then it starts its journey. Using temperature, humidity, as well as GPS sensors, you are able to monitor how the vehicle is moving. And in case there's an unscheduled stop, for example, in between, in case the temperature or humidity conditions have gone up beyond the set limits, you get an alert and you can take proactive action against them. The idea ultimately is to get that data. With that data, you can analyze the performance of the vehicle, the driver, the transporter, and even within the ERP itself, using this analytics, you can block the transporter. While this has been developed for cold chain, there are a lot of other use cases in industries such as pharma, in industries such as mining, any bulk supply. This can be used for that purpose. And we have used services, for example, classification, image classification, even reading the number plate of the vehicle. All that is possible within this. A lot of services which are available, more than 65 services, in fact, which are available on the SAP Cloud Platform. What are marked in orange are the ones which we have used in the examples I just showed you. Things like mobile development, smart business service, SAP Analytics Cloud, IoT services, cloud integration, cloud connector, SAP HANA as a database, identity authentication, and so on. Coming to the third type of use case, which is using multiple channels to communicate with what? To communicate with your customers, to communicate with what users, to communicate with anybody who wants to actually work on your system. So you have conversational AI, which is available in system. You have mobile frameworks for example, for iOS, you want to develop native-like applications on iOS, you can do it. Then there are automated workflows. If you have developed a bot, then automatically if somebody has visited your website and they have put in a request for some certain services, it can automatically go into your CRM or your S4HANA system, and then you can react to it. So these are new experiences. The earlier experience has been primarily limited to somebody logging into the SAP system, but this goes far beyond. Examples, we have done integrations with, for example, WhatsApp. So instead of you're traveling somewhere, you want to know, you're meeting a customer, you want to know what is the customer balance, you just put a message on WhatsApp. Obviously, system will not understand everything in the first place, so it will ask you subsequent question. So you say, please share customer number, say customer balance. It will ask you, please share customer name. You share the name. System finds that there are two customers with similar names. It will ask you which is the one you want to select. When you select it, you'll find straight off it is giving you the information. So this is a new way of interacting with the SAP system, as against somebody logging in and then running a specific report, first remembering what is the transaction code for it. Once the report comes out, then he knows what is the actual status. You even have integration with, for example, Slack. There are a lot of other platforms with which you can integrate. Same way we have done with Teams as well. And even within Fiori also, there is an option where I can have a chatbot instead of running a report. When I see this screen, as you can see here, I ask for the open order count. It tells me which customer, and when I tell it, it will tell me how much is the count. So again, a chatbot within Fiori itself. Another requirement which many people have is they have multiple applications, not just SAP, but non-SAP. They want the user to have a single sign-on. They want to have one launchpad from where they are able to click on that particular application and automatically takes you there. So it changes the user experience completely. Instead of having to work on clicking on deploying so many applications in so many places, you can have a single place where all of them are available for you. Fourth case is integration. So in today's world, you have to live with so many applications. You can't just eliminate those applications and say, I have only SAP solutions. So yes, SAP has made so many integrations available. This is just a representation. Right from an Amazon or a Marketo or a Salesforce.com, you have already connectors available in the SAP Cloud Platform integration suite. This is one example of an integration that we did with Salesforce, SFDC, and it's pretty simple to build, frankly. So those were the four important uses of the SAP Cloud Platform. Let's now look at some general cases. For example, you've done a design thinking workshop and now you want to build a prototype which you want to test out. So there are tools. For example, there is Build, which is a tool available from SAP. It is being sunsetted, and there is another one called Fiori Tools, which is coming out. But even within Build, you can see you can build a persona for the user. You can then do the wireframing, how your solution is going to look. You can create a clickable prototype, which is available, which you can forward to the user groups. And once they have tested out, you can even get the feedback, whether it received 5 stars or whether it was not okay. And based on that, even without investing a single person writing code, you have feedback from the customer, from the user. The user knows what is he going to get because this tool uses the same design elements as Fiori. So finally, when I make the solution available, it's going to look exactly the same. So it's a big gap. You create specifications, and finally what you end up with, that thing is eliminated with using a tool like this. You also have a discovery center available for the SAP Cloud Platform, because what I talked about was just an overview of so many features which are available. But if you want to know whether SAP has an API available, for example, for X system, you can go and search for it. There's even an advisor which will tell you which particular solution you or API you need to go with. And there is a lot of innovation which SAP is doing, and equally a lot of partners are also innovating. I mentioned about the accelerators that we build. What we are now doing is those accelerators we are now moving on to the cloud platform and what is called as the SAP App Center. The concept of App Center being like your app store on your Apple devices. You discover some app, you download and start using. The same concept, while it's a vision at this stage, is even enterprise customers would go to the App Center, discover if they have a certain need, they'll find 2-3 options, then they'll take a download of one of the apps, deploy it, and then start using it. While still we are some time away from making it a kind of deployment by just clicking because of the complexities involved, but that's the ultimate vision. We also have apps. For example, there's a project analytics app we have called Zoom Pro, which is again, you can deploy it for your any projects that you might be doing and get the full analytics straight off from there. This is just a representation of what kind of options are available on the Discovery Center. Business rules, process viability, intelligent RPA, process mining, workflows. It's a huge list. I think you can, I can share the links with you if you send me a mail, and you can go through all of these. So in summary, you can integrate systems, you can accelerate your extensions, you can even build your own solutions, you can expand on your business value, connect SAP as well as non-SAP solutions, ECC as well as S4HANA, as well as the other solutions from SAP like SuccessFactors, Ariba, and so on. You have the tools available. You have a lot of ready content which is available. There's a large partner ecosystem which is willing to work with you, which is also creating IP, which you can readily use. Coming to the way forward, what do we need to do? What should be the approach? I would say there are two types of approaches that people have. One is called as a top-down approach for innovation or for digital transformation, driven by the board or the CEO. Typically, these would be very long duration. They would also have a lot of work streams and a lot of mini projects within them. Some could be related to customer experience. Some could be related to optimizing the operational processes. Some could be to redefine the business model as well. So obviously, this is full scale and longer route. Many companies are doing it, but a good number of companies are not yet embarked on this part. So the other approach is a bottoms-up approach, where typically small, mid-sized initiatives across the organization, led by an executive who reports into the CIO or the CTO. And typically on all these work streams, you would have a couple of projects. So maybe there's one project which you want to do on customer experience, another one you want to do an operational process, maybe in finance, another one which you want to do on your HR side. So these are partial, these are mini projects. They have a shorter route to success, but you can adopt these and you can execute these using the SAP Cloud Platform as well, and pretty quickly too. And then there are two types of initiatives. One is the problem solving, where you already know the problem and you want a solution for it. And the other one, which is much bigger, and I think what's very important, is also problem finding, because, for example, before the days of Uber, did we ever think that hailing a taxi cab was a problem? It was an inconvenience, yes, if you have to wait, but we never thought of it as a problem. But Uber came and they solved the problem, and it's such a disruptive big business. So a lot of innovation can come from problem finding. We can organize a design thinking workshop. Typically what we say to our customers is, give us a challenge rather than a problem, and with that challenge we'll work out along with your team in a very short span of time. Maybe we can come up with a solution for you, and we have an execution tool available, which is the SAP Cloud Platform, to solve the problem. So one way is you already have SAP Cloud Platform. Maybe you're using it to its fullest, or maybe you have not yet started using its full potential. So you can definitely look at that. If you don't have SAP Cloud Platform, you can sign up for a free SAP Cloud Platform trial account. You can use it to try out new things. Next step would be to identify an innovation challenge. If not an innovation challenge, a problem statement. We can conduct a design thinking workshop, which will end up with either a MVP or a prototype, or at least a clickable prototype. And then you can also take user feedback, validate whether your solution is going in the right direction or not. Once it is sure that yes, it's in the right direction, you can develop it further, you can maybe integrate it with your backend systems, and you can pilot it. So once you have piloted it, you can fine tune, and then you're ready to scale up and deploy on production. So this would be a typical journey, is what I would say for you. If you're already using it, well and good, but if you're not, I think this could be a good starting point. One more example which I can give you is one of our customers. They had a problem with vehicles which were coming in to their DCs or to their stores, either from the suppliers or from the DC itself. And because of limited capacity available to unload, they would wait and wait and wait. And a lot of time was lost, a lot of dissatisfaction, both in the team as well as in the vehicle drivers and all. So they said, why not smoothen the arrival of vehicles at each location? And with that challenge, we did a design thinking workshop with the customer. We spent 3 days. First day visiting the locations and seeing what's actually happening, talking to a lot of people, interviewing them. Next day, we sat together, arrived at multiple options for the solution. And third day, we had a clickable prototype ready. Then it was a matter of another 10 days to actually develop the solution. We got a low code right out of the SAP build itself, tinker with the code, fine tune it, and integrate it with the backend SAP system. And within 15 days, we had a solution ready. So you can imagine how quickly we can actually solve a problem using one thing. One side is the design thinking approach, and the other is the execution solution like SAP Cloud Platform. I think you would have heard of this and seen this. What's an intelligent enterprise? It's about intelligently connecting people, things, and businesses. And the importance from an SAP perspective for the intelligent enterprise and SAP Cloud Platform. This is a statement by Dr. Hasso Plattner, who is the chairman of the supervisory board. I will just read the first sentence, which says SAP Cloud Platform is in the center of everything that we do now. So you can imagine how important SAP Cloud Platform is. Recently, I gave a webinar where I called this Unraveling SAP Cloud Platform, SAP's best kept secret. The reason is because very few customers realize that actually now SAP Cloud Platform is the center of everything SAP is developing and what they're going to develop in the future. Last but not the least, I'll say SAP Cloud Platform is not just a cool toy to play around. If you have an innovation challenge or a problem statement, this is the platform that can deliver quickly without disruption and without too much of an investment spent in developing the solution. Now I think we have reached to the end of my presentation. You can reach out to any of us for a free one-day workshop to discuss any use case. And I'm now open for any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sabahat. That was great. Again, if anybody has any questions, please enter them into the questions pane on the GoToWebinar tool. But we do have some in the queue, so we'll get started with those first while you guys write in other questions. The first question we have is, can we use SAP Cloud Platform if we are still using ECC?
Absolutely. You can use SAP Cloud Platform even with ECC. It need not be SAP S/4HANA. The only limitation I see is you would not be using HANA database, so the speed of response that you get, especially related to analytics and all, you may not get that. But from a business process, from a workflow perspective, very much so, you can use it.
Great. Next question, is it mandatory to use SAP Cloud Platform if we move to S4HANA? And are ABAP changes not allowed in S4HANA?
Yeah, so it's not mandatory, but from a vision perspective, from a roadmap perspective, the reason why you are moving on to S4HANA is also because you want to use the new emerging technologies. To use these emerging technologies as they get incorporated into your S4HANA system, you don't want to spend a lot of time in upgrading your system. You don't want to, if you have done some customization, to see whether that customization will stay as it is when I upgrade. So if you want a quick upgrade, it's better not to touch the core, but it's not that it is not allowed. There is a version of S4HANA, which is the public cloud version, where you're not allowed to make changes like these. The changes are very limited to, for example, to what are called in-app extensions. But the kind of flexibility you have of making changes within the core today with ECC, ideally you should not have the same when you're using S4HANA.
Great, thank you. Next question, how is SAP Cloud Platform different from SAP Leonardo?
Yeah, so these terms I think keep coming. SAP Leonardo also, if you look at it from a technology perspective, is actually built using SAP Cloud Platform itself. But those are predefined use cases based on SAP's experience. For example, there's something called as connected assets. So, for example, you have vending machines and you want to connect those vending machines to your system because you want to know when they are getting empty and you want to replenish the supplies. It's a use case which is known to exist. So SAP has already built it as a use case, but the way they have built it is again using SAP Cloud Platform, and a lot of intelligent technologies have been incorporated in there.
Great. Another question we have is, if implementation is done on-premises S4HANA, are there use cases that may not be executable on-premises as compared to if it was implemented on the cloud? And then is it necessary to have both environments?
Yeah, so if the environment we are talking about is SAP S4HANA public cloud, then yes, on the SAP S4HANA public cloud system, you will not be able to directly execute that. But the way around is if you have SAP Cloud Platform, then I can have the two systems linked together, and whatever use case I had developed in the core itself earlier on ECC, the same thing I can develop on the SAP Cloud Platform. And then if from a user experience perspective, it will look the same. The user from a UX, it will be Fiori, but it will be exactly the same as it operated earlier. So there are no limitations as such, as long as you look at S4HANA Public Cloud and SAP Cloud Platform together.
Okay. And then it looks like we have time for one more question. You mentioned that SAP Cloud Platform is SAP's best kept secret. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, as I mentioned it, what statement Mr. Hasoplatner gave, so a lot of development which SAP is now doing, they're doing it on the SAP Cloud Platform or using some or the other component of the Cloud Platform. However, a lot of SAP customers today don't know. One reason is because probably they still think that if they are on ECC, they may not be able to use the SAP Cloud Platform. So why look at it? But if they were to know, probably I've tried to do that. What are the capabilities? What all you can do with the SAP Cloud Platform? I think companies will be able to create differentiators. They'll be able to simplify their landscapes, and whatever challenges I mentioned at the start, those 3 challenges, they can overcome those challenges with the SAP Cloud Platform. But it's not marketed the way it should be, or the other solutions are. That's why I say it's a best kept secret.
Great, thank you so much. And that ends our Q&A section. So I will hand it back over to you guys to close us out.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for attending and for your interest in this topic. If you have any questions, any requirement, any use case that you would want to discuss with us. So we can arrange a free one-day workshop for you. We'll discuss those requirements with you and give you a consultation on how that use case can actually be made productive. So looking forward and happy exploring.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all.